Yeah, welcome to this section of Conversations, where we're continuing a conversation that was aired yesterday with the Dean of the Wayne State University's School of Arts and Sciences. That's Wayne M. Raskind, mathematician and a PhD, and the Dean of the Arts and Science of Wayne State University, my alma mater in Detroit, Michigan. And it's good to be back to continue on our conversations. The conversation we had aired yesterday. I wonder, we were talking in the clips that we had and so forth, or in the general thing, the trials and tribulations of Detroit, and it has been addressed under what's called the Grand Bargain. And we had a clip with people who had given some support and so forth. And in the break we spoke, and you said that might be able to be elaborated a little more what the Grand Bargain consisted of, and people who were involved in getting the groundwork for the renaissance of the Detroit area. And then that will relate to the fact that Wayne University is a major institution at the center of that educational. But could there's some addendum to what the Grand Bargain meant as you understood it coming in as dean.
Yes, so I think that during the bankruptcy proceedings, that as everyone knows, that there was great concern among the friends of the Detroit Institute of Arts that some of the art would have to be sold, and nobody wanted to see that happen. Right. And so there were some intense discussions, and in fact, one of the main mediators is a former member of the Wayne State Board of Governors, whose name is Eugene Dreiker. He's a very prominent lawyer and a graduate of Wayne State University, who I believe was in the very same class as you, Harold.
Really?
Yes.
We should try and connect?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
I think
okay,
you would know a lot of common people. And former Governor Dreiker was involved. His wife is a former trustee of the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Yeah, that's a major institution. People should realize it's like the Prado or something. Yeah.
It is, and so one of the donations that kicked off the Grand Bargain, I think now it has been made public. So I think that I can mention it, that one of a former chemistry professor, Paul Skop, at Wayne State University, who founded his own company, and he made a very generous donation to the Grand Bargain, which helped to kick it off.
Okay, good, yeah,
and inspire others to do their part, and the combination of people with very different views of the world between some of the donors and the Ford Foundation and the Michigan State Legislature. These are people who I think they would tell you themselves that they have very different views of the world, but they all came together for this common cause to be able to get Detroit out of bankruptcy, and for the creditors, for the pensioners to take the least pain. And it was a very inspiring thing to see a very difficult situation come out. I think no one would say it's perfect, but I think the result is one that I think the bottom line that the city, the creditors, and the pensioners can work with, and then hopefully get to a better day.
Yeah, okay, well that's good to say that it's a larger thing. And then what we want to talk about particularly, you're the Dean of Arts and Sciences, and that's maybe 40–50% of the population of the university. It's a major university. They're interested in becoming a major research institution, and they got a medical school that is top of the mark and all that. They got a great reputation, and they want to have a reputation not only for major research facility, and also for educating the youth coming along in terms of a normal teaching situation that could be first class. And you do have a Detroit population with a great variety of social economic levels and so forth like that. Right. So it's a major challenge. And the university has come up with this sort of idea just recently, the last few months, a year or so, of a pivotal moments, right? They have a thing where they're talking about pivotal moments, and that's a theme that is part of getting the story about Wayne University as an institution out and about in terms of the public consciousness, huh?
That's correct, yes. In October, we kicked off a fundraising campaign that, as you mentioned, is called Pivotal Moments. And the name was inspired by President M. Roy Wilson. He was reading about the history of Wayne State University, which was called Wayne University when you were there, and in fact, its name changed while I think you were a student.
Oh, really? I always call it Wayne. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Too busy learning.
Well, good. I'm glad you did the most important things.
No, it's a great school. Yeah.
But it was founded as by a group of doctors in 1868.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
And then
fill us in. Yeah.
And then it grew. And in fact, our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences was founded in 1933.
Okay.
And with professional schools such as business and law. But in the few years before I came to Wayne State in 2012, we had consulted with experts in fundraising about what would be a good goal for us for a campaign, for a capital campaign, and they advised us that about $750 million would be a good and ambitious, but a realistic goal for us. And so when we were looking for a proper name for that campaign, the president looked at the history of Wayne State and at several pivotal moments where the university could have gone this way.
That's a good term, pivotal moments.
Yes.
Yes.
Or
Eureka.
It could have gone that way.
Yeah.
And so he decided on that name for the campaign.
Oh, good for him. It came from him, not for some professional PR person or something.
That's correct, yes. He actually rejected some of the names that came from such places. Yeah. And
he's medical, right? He's got a medical background.
He is an ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
And so we kicked off this campaign in October, and we have been we've had kind of a road show where we've been to Chicago and New York and Southern California, and we were in Florida last week. And the president comes with us, and we inform the alumni and anyone else who would like to contribute about the campaign, about some of the themes that we're stressing.
Right.
So there are four main themes, which are inspire, discover, create, and engage.
Okay. Well, that can include a lot.
It does.
And it's also not only a thing that would be you have to be practical reality of what's needed, but also it has philosophical implications about the overall understanding of the university's role in trying to get into a situation where they can fulfill the educational part of the regeneration or the rebirth of the city, and that's really important across. That's a model across the country, across the world. Right. Educational capability advanced to the greatest number of people. It's a philosophical thing as well as a practical thing.
It is, and actually Detroit, among metropolitan areas in the U.S., lags a little bit in terms of percentage of adults who have bachelor's degrees.
Okay. Yeah.
So Detroit ranks, I think, in a 2010 survey, I think Detroit ranked something like 75th of major metropolitan areas. Out of quite a few. I mean, there were maybe 125 to 150 that were surveyed.
There's room for growth up that ladder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that back in the day, you could have a good manufacturing job with a high school diploma, and I think that was great, but that doesn't work as well now.
Yeah, and that clip we saw yesterday, they said they had I think there was a period or a year or a period where they had the highest per capita income of any other city in the United States of America.
That's correct. But I think that in the 50 years between about, say, between about 1960 and 2010, I think that there was not
A huge drop.
enough innovation,
Yeah.
and I think the education, even though the percentage of people with bachelor's degrees grew as it has done in most metropolitan areas, that it did not grow as fast as was needed to allow people to keep up in terms of education, in terms of quality jobs, to be, being prepared for quality jobs. And so we at Wayne State University feel that we play a great part in improving the percentage of adults who enjoy bachelor's degrees.
Yes, a bachelor's degree is a thing, but what it is equipping them with a major problem that it confronts not only Detroit, it confronts the world.
Yes, it does.
That the exponent we were discussing in theoretical terms, the exponential increasing of information technology and other things that follow from that. We're going through a major transformation in this world, are we not? And that education is a key to that in terms of the institutions that we've inherited and the transformation that's inherent in the current moment in evolutionary terms. I mean, I don't want to wax but we're going through a major change now, and education is key to the participation of the population writ large in that major transformation. I'm stumbling on words, but it's not just a normal thing. It's an imperative that's not just Detroit, but it's the imperative confronting the human society.
That's correct, and I think it's not just people who can get bachelor's degrees, but it is people, for example, who have got bachelor's degrees who can get a master's degree that can help them gain advancement in their chosen profession.
In their chosen profession and across the social economic ladder. Because we got people at all levels, again, globally. We ought to be thinking not only locally, but also globally, and that's a responsibility of citizenship. It sounds idealistic or something, but it's really it's of the essence in terms of the problems confronting mankind at a very crucial time.
That's correct, and so, for example, we have been working with the Detroit Police Department to help some of their people at the rank of sergeant and above be able to get master's degrees, and we have provided some scholarships for them to come back to Wayne State and to pursue a master's degree in, for example, criminal justice.
Well, we got right across the street from this building where we're recording is the John Jay College of Criminal. It looks like it's huge now. They got a huge building, a whole avenue.
Right.
From one avenue to the other, the whole block is a huge school for criminal justice, and the Justice Department and the institutions that hold together the society in a way that can avoid anarchy or any kind of things that could break out. We've got challenges on an international scale, citizenship challenges and so forth, are being met by the universities. And maybe we have a couple of clips, right? And we could just say, one is this pivotal moment idea. We have two clips, they're playing them close to one another. But one is President Wilson and some of the people announcing this idea. And then there's another one with the students who are doing it in a sort of upbeat way.
Yes.
May I say youthful, vigorous way.
Absolutely.
Addressing the same thing. So it might be worthwhile if we just bring that up too. We start with the first clip. There's only a couple of minutes each. And we'll get back, and then we want to talk about the actual structure of Wayne University as an institution in a more calm way, and the various departments and all that sort of thing. But maybe we could bring up that first clip then, if we could, Pivotal Moment.
Today we are launching Pivotal Moments, the largest and most visionary fundraising campaign in Wayne State's history.
Every great city as a great university that underpins it.
Today, more than ever, education is the tool that opens up opportunities for all.
It's our responsibility to get involved.
Detroit is better because of Wayne State, and Wayne State is better because of Detroit.
Our students deserve the very best. We are training students, educating them to be global citizens of this world. Your contributions touch and literally change lives.
I'm going to be 100% behind you. I'm so proud of what you're doing. Congratulations.
We're partners with Detroit. And what's good for Detroit is good for Wayne. What's good for Wayne is good for Detroit. I just can't emphasize that enough. Now, we have a grand vision, and it is to be one of the preeminent public urban research universities of this country. We have 4 years. With your help and with the help of many others, we'll get it done. So let's get it done. Thank you very much.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. That was really good. Thank you, President Wilson. And for the thing, it was very interesting. He said, what's good for Detroit? I wonder if I could take it another little step forward or something. We wanted to play the students. As one of the students do, a little bit more, I don't want to say upbeat, no, a little youthful. Right. But anyway, he said, what's good for Detroit is good for Wayne, what's good for Wayne is good for Detroit. Something I'd like to underscore, what's good for both Wayne and Detroit is very much in the national interest as well. Right. It's not just local, it's a national issue that the national interest is, it's a model for the national, that serves the national interest well. And has, you understand what I'm saying? It's not just local. Yeah. No, and you have a great number of people from all over the world, particularly when you get into the research and so forth, right?
That's correct. And I think some of the challenges that we face in Detroit and at Wayne State are common to other cities in the U.S. and around the world.
The challenges, and let's add, with increasing vigor,
right, as
some politicians have, the opportunities are there that are being maybe by too many overlooked, in terms of the unique situation. This entrepreneur, I know a lot of entrepreneurially minded people, web people and all that, they really are looking at Detroit as a major place where the opportunities are going to be coming to the fore in a major way. Yeah, the youth is looking at that,
That's right, and I think we do train right now, and we can train even more such people at Wayne State University. And it's not just in engineering or in business. I think it's in many fields, and I think that in our college that we prepare people very, very well for the kind of entrepreneurship that it's going to take to reinvigorate the city.
Indeed, and then comes with that a whole lot of other things, like remember we had Motown.
Right.
You hip to the Motown. There was a lot of good sound. There's a lot of happening in Detroit at a cultural level that is part of the national fabric and so on. But anyway, so listen, we played that. That was sort of the president and so on. Now there's a little clip about similar length with the students that are done, which is part of pivotal moments. Right. And so why don't maybe we could run that one too. That's got some production values and whatnot, but maybe we could run that clip now then, please, if we could.
We are Wayne State University.
We are Wayne State University.
We are Wayne State University.
We are Wayne State University, and we have had an amazing year.
We made an indelible contribution
to a city,
to a nation,
and to the world.
just like we have for nearly 150 years.
We're made up of some of the smartest
and toughest,
The most tenacious, persistent,
and innovative students
who have ever sought knowledge.
We live on campus, we commute.
We're local, we're national,
We're international.
We're the most diverse student body in Michigan.
That's important because if you want your point of view to be understood,
You better learn to understand another's.
better learn to understand another's.
we've accomplished a lot in 1 year. We made an economic impact, we made a medical
We made a
impact.
medical impact.
We made a social
We made a
impact.
social impact. We made a scientific
We made a
impact.
scientific impact.
We made an academic impact.
We made a local impact.
We're recognized by the Carnegie Foundation.
For having very high research activity.
The National Institutes of Health awards us grants
that improve the lives of thousands of babies and moms globally.
We're one of only 3 universities in
Only
the state.
3 universities in the state who are part of the University Research Corridor.
We make discoveries here that aren't being made anywhere else in the world.
Anywhere else in the world.
Beyond our 200-acre campus of green space and walking paths, you can have Detroit. Threshold to the great big world.
Great big world.
We'll put our experience up against any other.
Because long before there was a movement
To save the city,
Way before it was cool to wear t-shirts that said Detroit versus everybody.
Before the hipsters, the slow rolls,
the lofts,
the brew pubs, and the segways,
there was a place that was thought-provoking.
Unapologetic,
hands-on, learn as you work with no excuses,
a place that said, here's your chance. A place to invent,
or reinvent
to experiment,
and produce,
To take some knocks.
but never break.
but never break.
that place was and is Wayne State University.
So Happy New Year from us to you.
And remember, just like last year, aim higher.
Aim higher.
Aim higher.
Aim higher.
Aim higher.
Okay, that was New Year. That was New Year's. The end of we're just coming into this year now. So that was done. That was creative and everything. It's that youthful energy, and there's a lesson in that. Again, a historical lesson that we could call to the attention of the people viewing this program about the city of Detroit. Yeah,
That's right.
and so that's all well done, and you've got it's. That follows on the activity and the rebirth of it. There will be a lot of creative energy coming from that city on the Detroit River. Yeah, and so that's it. Now down to the fact that it's a major. They want to become a major research institute. It's how many students are there at Wayne State University, more or less?
So for this academic year, Wayne State has about maybe 26,500 students.
A lot of students, yeah.
And about 40% of them are in our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
40%. Then you have a major medical college and other.
That's correct.
Other law. Does law?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
have law
You got the whole panoply of educational opportunity.
That's correct. We are a very comprehensive university.
And you're dean of the arts and sciences, which is about 40% of the population.
That's correct.
And in numbers of people who get statistics, where they get degrees and that sort of thing, it's a major part of the university.
Yes,
the arts and science, that part of the university.
Yes, we have many alumni, and it's a great pleasure for me to travel around the country and around Michigan to meet them.
And to be part of that.
They are so loyal and generous to the university, and to see what the university has meant to them. I can honestly say I've been part of some great universities, like for example, University of Pennsylvania.
You were at University of Pennsylvania?
As an undergraduate, yes.
As an undergraduate, yeah, okay.
And I've been parts of, and I've done alumni work for the University of Pennsylvania, and they're wonderful people who are extremely grateful for the wonderful education that they've received. But I can honestly say that when I meet Wayne State alumni and I see what the university has meant to them, I see the difference that it's made in their lives, and I see how Wayne State moves the needle in terms of educating a wide class of people, of being an accessible institution that can really help better the lives of many people. It is really heartwarming, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Well, they're lucky to have you, if I may say so. And you were at Southern Cal, were you, for a while?
Yes.
And Arizona State, major institutions.
Yes.
And again, your resume just knocks my socks off with how many important papers in the realm of mathematics that you've participated in. Congratulate you on all of that career.
Thank you.
Now, for the school, I wonder if we could just talk into that. The actual school is, let's say, the arts and science. How many down into college departments, or how is it broken up? And how wide a range of subject areas are included in there? At what levels are the students mostly to be found? And some of those nut and bolts question about it. And then we have a little clip that sort of explains the thing. If we could, we'll show a little bit down the line, but maybe an outline of the arts and science program at Wayne State University.
Sure. So we have 19 departments, and they are in the humanities, in the social sciences, in the natural sciences, and in the life sciences. And we provide most of the general education to all students in the university, to all undergraduate students in the university. So while we're about 40% of the students, we provide about 60 to 65% of the instruction of the undergraduate instruction in the university.
What about a graduate training?
Yes, so we have master's and PhD programs in just about every department. So we are a very large and very wide-ranging unit, and I love the breadth and the scale of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and it's a great challenge, but it's a great pleasure to be head of this unit.
Yeah, is it similar? Is it similar to other universities and so forth, that you have a division more or less along those lines? Some universities are known for Caltech or MIT or something for certain things. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But is it a curriculum that is I don't want to use standardized, but it's a consistent pattern? The liberal arts, are there things that are including at Wayne that aren't so well included in other of the universities that exist, and that sort of thing, comparative thinking, and perhaps for students who are thinking about it. Also, you reach out to international students who come to become part of the fabric. Yeah.
Yes, we do. I mean, so we have a lot of programs that would exist at other universities. We do have some special programs which are built on some special features of Detroit. So, for example, the great Walter Reuther, who was a great labor leader, we have his archives on the Wayne State campus, and we have programs in labor studies.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah.
That with some very valuable documents that people can look at and the scholars value very highly.
Henry Ford was a great citizen of Detroit.
That's correct. Yes,
and so he'd be aware of that. You have a thing. Do you have a Greenfield Village?
Yes.
Is there a thing? I see, so long ago, but Greenfield Village is a major source of that. And you have the Art Institute was right there, Jeek by Jowl was Wayne State. So it's a culturally rich area.
Yes, it is, and it's So.
Well, that's really good. I wonder, maybe we could, just sort of as an introduction, we have a clip that goes about 5 minutes. It's rather slow-paced, but that's what we want to do, is slow down a little bit and just show the breadth and what you're talking about are some people, largely 17, 18-year-old young people, wondering what to do with their life. So it's a great responsibility when you open up certain opportunities, and it's probably something that applies to education in general. But this is one that that supplies that kind of a view. And so maybe we could play that. It's about 5 minutes or so, slow-paced, and it talks about the reality of a young person wondering how or what do I want to do with my life. These are major questions, the rites of passage, that kind of thing, that the university and the people who are supporting it could be aware of. So I wonder if maybe we could play that clip. It's about 5 minutes that gives a look at Wayne and about the students' experience, the young people making a transition could do. So maybe we could run that clip now then.
I walked through campus one day and it clicked. It felt like home.
I spent the better part of my freshman year just desperately searching for a major. Biomedical engineering was the exact way that I could do something tangible and real.
I got to start really paying attention to nurses and what they did, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
My first visit here to Wayne State, I learned a little bit about Judge Keith. I saw that there was a center dedicated to his life and living up to the example that he set, and I knew I was in the right spot.
I liked science, I liked math, so I made a list and kinesiology stood out to me. I loved being in class, I loved doing the homework, I loved going to the site visits, and my professor was awesome. She came up to me and said, you know, Casey, I think you'd be a great candidate for being a peer mentor in our kinesiology and health studies learning community. I know you're a student athlete, I know you're busy, but I would love to have you on board. And I loved it, because it's awesome to see the change that you can provide for someone who's a first-year student.
As an incoming student, you're 18 years old, and suddenly the world's like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? I know so many students, qualified students, who really deserve a chance to get where they're going, and they can't do that without the scholarships and the support to succeed in college. I would not be where I am without aid. They utilize these resources to really, really help the students kind of get the hands-on experience that helps them figure out what they want to do with the rest of their life.
It was Introduction to Psychology 101. It set the tone for me, and I really, really decided that this is what I wanted to do, and now I'm a researcher at the university.
I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Otwell last summer, and she really works hands-on with youth living with HIV, and I got to see a different aspect of research. That's the reason I actually like being at Wayne State, is because a lot of our classes promote being in the community, so it kind of takes you from your comfort zone and just pushes you out there.
The researchers at this university are in the community. They're out there doing the work. The research, we start here and then we move it out to a national level, hoping to be a model for the other things that are going on.
I remember getting off the plane in Haiti, and it was really surprising. Like you didn't know what to think of it at first. We started in 2011 building an electronic medical record system specifically for the setting of transient medical clinics. And we've piggybacked that project on a class in the computer science department where computer science undergraduates helped us to design our system. It was a good experience for us. I always feel like we get more out of it than the people we see there.
The pivotal moment for me and my career was coming to the Institute of Gerontology at Wayne State University. I really realized how much leadership we could provide translating some of the greatest research that's ongoing in the country that's being done here into practical, real conversations with older adults and their families. So last year alone, we educated probably 7,000 professionals and about 4,000 or 5,000 older adults.
I was worried because my teaching load was heavy. I hadn't memorized lines for a full-length play in 14 years, but it was the most rewarding process I've ever been through in a 35-year career. I would give exercises to my BFA acting students, and once they got rolling doing the exercises, working with a piece of text, working with motivation, working on a monologue or a part of a scene, you could literally feel the energy just raise in the classroom.
You know, you have those pivotal moments where you say, that isn't just an academic thing, it becomes a living, breathing thing that you can't help but be swept up into. You know, that it's not just words on a paper, it's a way of creating your art.
I got what's called a public interest fellowship. I'd like to provide free legal services to folks who are being treated for cancer. This is the community that supported me and educated me, and in some ways they'll be paying it back, and in other ways they'll be paying it forward. I have to. It's a moral imperative for me.
I think for all of us that do the work that we do in this field, we're looking at things that will hopefully, lessen or eliminate health disparities. And the university is a big part of that because the university is in the community.
I see an evolution. I'm reaching for something that's not just me anymore. And actually, since coming here, it's how can I impact others? What can my degree do for others? And that's something Wayne State really taught me. Not just better yourself, but better your community and better your world.
Okay, well, that's a sort of survey of things going on in the arts and science, and so a lot of opportunities, and they ask those questions, and I suppose that's a larger metaphor. You have a lot of community outreach. There's a lot of things that you're doing that affect the community immediately in a sense of service, and other things that give people a sense of identity that is important, and education is really of the essence. You're connected with other universities around the country and so forth. Wayne is, and there are associations along those lines that give support. And I guess it's one of the three major universities in the state of Michigan, right? You got U of M and Michigan State, and then Wayne. Right. And Wayne's the one that's most in tune with the needs of the nation because it's right in the heart of this urban center that's gone through this great transformation that might be a model not only for Michigan but for the nation and perhaps in a certain sense the world. A lot of changes that are going on, whereas the other, you understand what I'm saying? And it's a major research center.
I do, and so it's interesting because other universities want to come in to Detroit to give their students experience in the city. And so, in fact, President Wilson likes to say, well, you know, the University of Michigan, they have one semester in Detroit. We have every semester in Detroit. And, and I think that's very true. And I think that those two great universities, I think, suffer from not being in the urban environment.
The urban environment is becoming characteristic of much of the planet, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And urban understanding of the dynamics of that, for all levels, business or political or whatever, is the responsibility of the intellectual community to become aware of the major trends that are shaping the world.
That's right, and I think that when you're not located in an urban environment, and then you come to that environment, I think some of the people say, "Well, what are you doing here?" I mean, this is not. Whereas we engage quite naturally with the community, and I think we do it very well. And the community is of great assistance to us. It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Yes, and a very peaceful. And not to mention that there's a great deal of things cultural, and they're growing all the time. Right. It's I use a word. It's a hip place to be increasingly for the young. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of things that are developing at a social or, let's say, restaurants and things like that. Yes. It's beginning to become lively and a place to be.
Oh, yeah. It is, and I think once the light rail, the M1, is finished.
Could you share that just real quick? What is the M1?
So the M1 is a light rail project going up Woodward Avenue, which is the main drag of Detroit.
They have a thing going up Woodward Avenue now?
Yes. It's being built as we speak. And it is the construction is very inconvenient, but it's a good inconvenient because it's for a good cause. And once it's completed, you'll be able to go from downtown through Midtown up to New Center, which is just north of Wayne State University.
Right out Woodward Avenue?
Yes, right up Woodward.
For those who aren't initiated, Woodward Avenue is a major thoroughfare there for the city of Detroit,
Yes, it is, and it'll be, and the city frankly needs a lot more than one light rail line to be a hub of public transportation. But for students and anyone who works in that area, it'll be a boon because it'll be very easy to go from Wayne State or from downtown to see a Tigers game, to see a Lions game, and the Red Wings are building a new arena that is supposed to be finished in 2016.
Where do the Tigers play these days? I used to have Briggs Stadium, but that's torn down. They got a new stadium now?
Yes, they do. It's called Comerica Park, and it was built in 1999.
Oh.
It's a beautiful park. It's in that kind of new but kind of retro style. The first being Camden Yards in Baltimore that was built in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so now a lot of parks want to be more like for example Fenway Park that I used to go to when I was a kid.
That's Boston, yeah.
That's right. And and then the Lions built Ford Field in the late 90s.
Is that in the Detroit area? Is it out near Pontiac or something?
No, it's right across the street from Comerica Park, right on
Oh,
Woodward.
wow, it's convenient, right? Yeah.
And so then once the Red Wings have completed their stadium, and then a whole development project, a 77 square block development project, which is going to develop a lot of the area, particularly west of Woodward, between Midtown and downtown.
Yeah.
And so those three stadia will be there, and it'll only be the Pistons who are out in the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is a very nice place, but is very far from the city.
Yeah, right. And you had that Michigan Theater. That was a major theater. They have major institutions and so forth.
Yeah.
And they've got, like I mentioned before, Motown, but they got the Michigan Theater, they got places for music and theater, and that kind of thing is growing up all the time, as well as the shops and the restaurants and things like that. It's growing in that downtown area around Wayne. That's a major hub of activity that is of interest, say, to nightlife and that sort of thing as well. I mean, it's an interesting place to be. There's a lot happening, and it's growing all the time at a social level for interaction with theater and the arts and that kind of thing.
There is, and then also Detroit has still has its challenges when it comes to crime, but actually the downtown and the Midtown area are quite safe, and they are just great. It's just a great place to be a student. As you say, Harold, there's a lot to do. There are some fantastic restaurants. It seems like a new one opens every week.
It's like mushrooms they're growing. Yeah, that's good. It's called a happening place, I think, in the youthful vernacular. Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
and there is the opera, and there is the symphony, and there's the sports, and there's so much to do there, both on and near the Wayne State campus, that it's really a great place to be a student.
And Michigan State is a gorgeous state.
Right.
I mean, you've got the river. And you've got forests, and you've got the lakes around it. It's a beautiful natural environment that's easily accessible too. And there are lakes all over the place, and the weather's reasonable. It's an interesting and good place to be. You got skiing.
Yes.
You got all the sports there, hiking, that kind of thing. So it's an attractive place at all levels, really.
It's a beautiful state. I had not spent that much time in the Midwest. I'd mainly been on the East or the West Coasts, and those are wonderful. But I've got to explore some of Michigan, and I think it's an absolutely beautiful state.
Yeah, Traverse Bay, Upper Peninsula, all that. It's beautiful, and it was also the center of so much industrial stuff. You had all that taconite up in Massachusetts. I mean, up in the Upper Peninsula. That's where Bobby Dylan came from.
Yes,
Bobby Dylan, this great singer.
Actually,
was from Duluth, I think.
But I think he's from Minnesota.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's part of the Great Lakes area and so forth. And
the Upper Midwest, yes.
The Upper Midwest. It's an interesting part of the country.
It is.
And it's good that it's coming along so well. So you're settling in. You like Detroit? Do you think you're happy with the environment in which you find yourself? And it's a great challenge and also opportunity, right?
Yes, I like it very much. So you know, and we've been pretty happy. We live in the suburbs, but we've been very happy with the schools for our kids. And,
oh yeah, because you got surrounding areas, and they used to have trolleys. I'm reminiscing. They used to have Trumbull Avenue. Is there a Trumbull Avenue?
There sure is. So actually, Tiger Stadium was at the intersection of Trumbull and Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, and Grand River.
Yes.
See, I'm reminiscing from my youth and
please
everything.
do.
It was a wonderful place to be growing up and everything like that. And it was. It's interesting to see that it's coming out of the travail that it has done, and also to call attention to the fact that, again, as I get the word, and I'm in touch with a lot of different people at all levels of society, including a lot of youth, it's a happening place that people are paying attention to now. And I think it's not a little bit the result of the fact that it has this major institution, Wayne State University, which I'm here to say is a major institution of great import, and happy to have been able to talk to you about that. Wish them all well, and it's a model that has implications, not only, again, to reiterate, not only the implications, and that Mr. Obama paid attention to that, and the nation, the national leadership, and the international leadership has paid attention to that city and have pulled it off to bring about the resurrection it's a metaphor for the world, do you think? We go through great travail. Mm-hmm. We learn, we get hardened, or we get, if life were just an easy thing, you wouldn't be quite the same as if you have faced major challenges sometime in your life, or something of that sort. I think there's a sociological principle there. Right. In Detroit, it's faced major problems and come out of it, and it's a story that has resonance in terms of the larger human condition. Metaphor, in a metaphoric way, but in a real practical way as well. It's a lesson that is relevant to the whole of the human condition that might be very, very well be brought into the conscience of the people as something to keep an eye on.
Yes, I think so, and I think you can maybe say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
There is somebody said that. I'm not sure. Somebody wise. Was it a rap song or was it a? No. It was. It was
said long before rap. But I think Wayne State University plays a greater role in Detroit than any other university that I've been at in its particular city.
That's interesting in itself. Yeah.
So, like for example, you take Boston, which is my hometown.
Yeah.
If you took away Harvard, sure, it would be a big loss, but there are some other universities there, and
UMass is big,
and also MIT,
not to mention
UNBC,
and you got that research corridor, or 128 or something. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And Detroit does have other universities and they're fine institutions, but I think that Wayne State plays as great a role in its city as any university that I know of does in its, and I'm very pleased to play the part that I do in the university.
Are you hip to, as they say, the importance of Motown in terms of the history of popular music? Motown was a major source, like Nashville or something, or it was a major move. Is that still alive and well as a center of jazz? And there's a lot of people came up of the Negroes from the South that were there. So there's that rich tradition too. You had a lot of artists coming out of there in the jazz and in the leading edge.
Right.
Do you understand? Because
I do.
It's a multiracial world we live in, and it's a place where there could be an appropriate blending of that, which is also another lesson that is uniquely Detroit. They had the great migration ended up in Detroit.
That's
so
correct,
that you got a mix of things, and then you got a lot of international exchange and so forth too. So it makes it very, very interesting just in terms of the makeup of the population of the city itself, including many of the students who come out of that population and intermingle.
It does, and I think Detroit has always been on the leading edge of culture, and I think in music, with Motown and then with technopop. And
what's technopop? You're hip to that?
So actually, technopop was a little bit after my time. So I think you might have to
way after mine,
ask others. But and now with other leading edge music that is with at my age is probably a bit too leading edge for me. But I think Detroit continues to be on that leading edge, and it's great to see. Really, it's a great cultural city for art and for music and for many other things.
Yeah, and there's outlying areas that you can get to easy, but also the downtown area is getting revived, and a lot of the institutions had to be torn down. Jerry Herron's paper referenced Gibbon.
Right.
Talking the rise and fall of the Roman Empire in his thing, and that's a metaphor that is served very well at the example of Detroit. And again, great to be at a university that is celebrating that environment in which it's having such a hand in helping to build. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and as we come up to our 150th anniversary. It's a great time to reflect on what Wayne State University is and what we've meant to the city and to the state and to the country and the world, and to see how we can do it even better as we go forward.
Mm-hmm. Are we to be optimistic or pessimistic for the future of the human prospect? Just in general, I wonder. Do you feel, as I do, that humanity is confronted with a monumental kind of moment in these times? That there's something very major going on in terms of qualitative, you're a mathematician, we were talking off camera, exponential transformation going on that is affecting everything, so that the pace of the change that's coming, being led maybe by the information technology, and all of that, but the pace of the change which is coming is moving exponential.
Yes, it is.
And maybe as a mathematician, we could talk about that fact, that the pace of the change is not arithmetic, as we look at history. That it's a time of qualitative transformation. Or could you maybe, as a mathematician, talk to that fact of the nature of the rate of change is being led by information, now robotics, and so forth? Could you address that as a mathematician who understands the extremely significant thing of exponential, and particularly like almost onto like punctuated equilibrium in evolution or something?
Right. Well, I'd be happy to do that, but I think that I could also say something about the human condition, which is I think something mathematicians are not noted for being experts on.
No, but they're contributing to it.
Yes, they are.
It's more than they're given recognition of, if I may. Go ahead, please.
But I think that briefly what has been happening is that some of the technical progress has been exponential. So things double and then they double again, and then they double yet again, such as, for example, like computing power.
Yeah.
But
way past Moore's law, even. Yeah.
That's correct. Wow. But I think in terms of some of the human institutions that we need to deal with this technical progress, I think some of those have been growing at a more like arithmetic pace.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah.
And so the growth in the technical domain has outpaced that in the human domain. And I think when that happens, as we were discussing before, like in the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, I think some people get left behind. I think some things get out of whack and are proceeding at too fast a pace, that faster than we humans can understand how to regulate them, how to use them to our best advantage.
Yeah.
And I think that happened, like for example, like with nuclear weapons.
Yes, I'm sorry. They've become very, very, not only thermonuclear.
Right, but they develop faster than our ability to
digest.
That's right.
Or to or to control. Yeah.
And I think that was a great challenge, which I think, to our credit, we have dealt with them better. They are still very scary things, but so just like that, I think that with information technology, with artificial intelligence, with robotics, that has proceeded at a technical pace that is somewhat faster than our ability to deal with it.
So we have a huge educational challenge that we have to face as a human society to bring ourselves into accord with a liberating capability rather than a destructive capability that are inherited in our inherited institutions. And where we need to do that is at a good university, one of which is this university on the Detroit River called Wayne State University. That you have the honor of being the dean of the arts and sciences of that. Do they pay you for such a rewarding job?
I think they do pay me.
I'm making a joke, but anyway.
But I would say, like they say in sports, that I would do it even if they didn't pay me.
Okay, very good. Thank you. It's your pleasure. We've run out of time, and that the challenge that's confronting the human condition is one I give it thought to all the time. Thank you very much, Dean Wayne Raff, for coming and talking about Detroit and Raskind and Wayne University, a major institution in that part of the world. Thank you for viewing. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. Thank you, and we'll be following up. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. So one more time, here's to. We had a little song. We could be playing the hymn from Wayne now. There's a Wayne, but I'm afraid we didn't bring it in.
Yeah.
But there is there's a esprit de corps. There's a esprit there that's really important, and I think it's true. Again, just to underscore, the young people. I get the word. The young people are really seeing that as being a happening place and a place to be if you want to be not just one of the gang in a place where it's way overcrowded with all kinds of people doing things, but a place where you can really make a mark. They're looking at Detroit. Yes. Happy to have been able to get that session out. Right. And Wayne's is crucial to the connection with Detroit, and that's crucial to the national and international order or interest.
Okay.
Thank you for viewing. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. Thanks again, Wayne, for coming in. Your pleasure. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.